I'm Father Raphael Asika, and I'm from a priest of the missionary side of St. Paul of Nigeria. We were a congregation founded in Nigeria in 1977. Now, I grew up in a quite not wealthy family. We grew up poor, as it were. My father was not as educated, neither was my mom, but they made sure that all of us went to school and did what they could to help us go to school. My father was very fervent Catholic. He was a convert. And so if whatever faith I have today and the fervency and the zeal I have, was something that rubbed off from him to me, and his prayers for all his children. He helped to bring the Catholic Church in my village. And he was just basically the pioneer, and so others followed him. And he is highly respected for that singular effort, evangelical effort that he made to bring the church, the Catholic Church, within my town. He used to be pray loud, He used to get up every morning and kneel beside his bed and pray for all his children. Very small. He used to, stay with my mom, and I used to be very eager early in the morning to hear my name called by my father, My father called my name to God. It still gives me a chill when I think about it. He will mention every child of his, the name of every of his children. Mention them to God and say, God, these are my children, these are your children. Please take care of them and guide them and show them the way. Let them not enter into any bad way. So it was such a beautiful thing. And as a child, early in the morning, I just basically eagerly wake up to hear my father call my name. God, so inspiring. And when eventually I became a priest and I could look back and say, oh, wow, maybe this is an answered prayer by my father. But he passed on in 1991 at the age of 84. So he's still, I have to think about saint. He's my number one saint because his very life inspired me. After my secondary education, I was hoping to actually embrace maybe journalism as a profession. But I was kind of a great reader, so I was an avid reader of novels and books, and so one of these days I was looking through a bookstore, and the books I want to read, and then I picked out these Confessions of St. Augustine. I've heard a lot about St. Augustine, this great man of faith and things like that, and so I said, well, let me read about him. And it was an abridged form, so I picked it up and kept on reading, and I couldn't put it down. I was on my table, reading, my reading table, and then somehow I blanked out. And it's like my life was basically flashed before me, like a television. I was watching my life move before me. I thought I was doing pretty well morally as a young man, growing up and with zeal and enthusiasm. But what I saw, wasn't good. And the scripture would say, our righteousness is like a filthy rag before God. And that's what I saw. My life I looked at it was pretty good as at that point. But when I saw my life wasn't good, what I saw. And so I was convicted within me. So when I didn't know how long that happened, how long that trance experience happened or lasted. But when I got up, the whole page, the book I was reading was all soaked in tears. All the while I was crying. Once I came out of that trance-like state, there was that deep and strong urge to enter the priesthood. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know how to begin the process. Nobody taught me about anything, but there was that deep urge to enter the priesthood. So, first of all, I had to seek out a priest to go to confession. And then I went to confession, came back, had some peace of mind. And then started looking for newspapers, Catholic newspapers to see who to write to and all that. So eventually got this Catholic newspaper advertising the missionary society of St. Paul. So that's how I wrote them, and that's how my story started. The Missionaries of St. Paul was founded in 1977. It was inspired actually by the visit of Pope Paul VI to Uganda in 1969, when he said, well, Africans, it's time to have your own missionaries now. So you can send your own missionaries. So one of our bishops at the time, Cardinal Ekandem, was in that conference in Uganda, and he came back with that sense of having missionaries too within the Catholic Church in Nigeria. When we came in here, my own experience, especially those of us who were missionaries of St. Paul, when we came in here, arrived in the United States, we didn't know the difference between the African American liturgy and any other liturgy, but we basically walked within the African American parishes. There are similarities in terms of we like Nigerians, we like to be expressive in our worship. We like to clap hands, we like to sing, we like to dance, we like to beat drums, make a lot of music in church before God, and it is just basically part of us, African worship of God is not so quiet and silent. It's very expressive. Worship it with our whole body. And I think also that's what I see within the African American Catholic community. I love people. I love my parishioners. Wherever I go, and that is my number one motto is to love your parishioners. I love people and I like to walk with them. That's what motivates me. Anywhere I go, the people are my number one concern. There's nothing else. And there are individuals there are souls to be saved, there are people to pray for, meet, interact with, socialize, teach. Yeah, that's basically my thing about my own priesthood. It's not of any other thing. Serving the Lord and the people that you meet, especially in the parish setting.